Welcome to Value Gene Insight Conversations. We're diving into a really critical issue that we see constraining growth across U.S. food manufacturing. I'm talking about the persistent productivity paradox. We see companies pouring billions into efficiency tools, into automation, yet output per hour is just struggling to move the needle. This is the challenge we were brought in to solve.
And that struggle is, it's quantifiable, unfortunately. If you look at the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics data, labor productivity, so output per hour, it's actually declined by roughly 6% since 2011.
6%. And what's alarming is that this stagnation seems to be systemic.
It is. We see bakeries, dairy, and what the BLS calls other food products all trending downward. Really, only grain and oilseed milling managed to achieve some relatively consistent gains.
Okay, so let's unpack that. What's the operational drag that's causing this decline? I mean, we know the talent gap is a massive constraint right now.
It's huge.
Almost half of manufacturers, something like 47%, cite the lack of qualified candidates as their #1 challenge when we speak with them.
And that talent deficit, it translates directly into operational instability, into lost throughput, high turnover. It's running at about 27.3% across food manufacturing. It means crucial institutional knowledge is just walking out the door. Think about your most experienced maintenance chief's memory. Gone. So we understand that about 1 in 5 facilities, maybe 20.6%, can't even run at the capacity they need to because of these missing skills.
That labor drag is just brutal. And speaking of things that aren't yet living up to the hype, let's pivot to the technology side. Investments in AI are certainly improving planning, no question, supply chain forecasting. But the actual impact on the shop floor, it still seems pretty limited without sophisticated robotics.
Exactly. Robotics are still largely confined to these narrow task-specific roles, true end-to-end automation, the kind that can, really replace complex human interactions on a dynamic line. That's likely still 5, maybe 10 years away.
Which really dictates our immediate focus.
It has to. We must strengthen efficiency and process stability now. We have to maximize current throughput while freeing up that crucial capital to invest when those next industrial revolution systems become commercially viable.
So, okay, we have the commitment, we have billions in investment, we have these clear operational symptoms. If the tools are being bought, why does this productivity cycle keep failing across the industry? We believe the core answer isn't a flaw in the technology itself, but something deeper we call misconceptions.
Right. And what we mean by misconceptions, it isn't just simple human error. They are fundamentally errors in understanding. They're these legacy mental models or flawed assumptions that dictate how work gets managed. And that's what traps the business in this cycle of short-term gains than long-term stagnation.
Okay, so what does that actually look like in practice? Can you give us an example of that flawed thinking in action?
Certainly. It's the decision, for instance, to aggressively raise line speeds. But you do it without adjusting staffing or retraining the team to handle that increased stress. That decision, it's driven by a short-term target, but it immediately increases burnout. It drives up overtime. And it creates a chronic instability that, just wipes out the initial gain a few months later.
Or launching a new piece of equipment.
Exactly. Launching that expensive new machine without budgeting for the necessary deep retraining. You just treat it like a plug-and-play solution. That flawed logic just generates daily downtime.
I follow that. So we are hunting down these micro failures driven by poor operational judgment, not just some big macro technology breakdown. And the data we're analyzing shows the hidden opportunity here is enormous. And critically, it doesn't require new capital.
That is the key takeaway for any leadership team listening. Substantial locked capacity is sitting inside your operations today. By simply improving how work is governed and executed, we consistently see opportunities to cut material waste by 30 to 50% and raise OEE overall equipment effectiveness by 10 to 20 percentage points.
Which unlocks a huge amount of capacity.
It does. Those improvements, taken together, they unlock 10 to 30% additional capacity.
That's significant. So if these misconceptions are filters that shape decisions, where exactly are they hiding in the operation?
They manifest across 6 critical dimensions of performance. It's the framework we use. So you have process, physical assets, people, governance, systems and KPIs, and finally, planning. These 6 areas are where the flawed assumptions cause these foundational cracks, addressing them systematically. That defines the immediate path to breaking the paradox and achieving sustainable performance.
Thank you for listening to Value Gene Insight Conversations. To deep dive this topic, listen to the next episodes of Breaking the Misconceptions. For more on food industry topics, visit valuegeneconsulting.com or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.